So, Jean-Francois, we'll start with something we actually began with today. It's a couple of days later. We're talking about, of course, the by-election in Jean Talon. And we began by talking about and asking the question of whether, by virtue of the size of the PQ victory in that riding, and the fact that the premier had spent time on his own going in there, trying to convince people to vote for their candidate, whether this, as some of the French columnists today suggest in the Journal de Montréal, this kind of brings the specter of a referendum or separation to the front again. Do you think it does?
Oh, wow. Yeah, there's one columnist that says that in the Journal de Montréal, and he's pretty much of the enthusiastic side of the ledger. I think, what happened in Jean Talon is that it was a referendum on the CAQ. And clearly, people were looking around to see who is the best hand to slap the CAQ. And they decided the best hand was the PQ hand. Had a good candidate. The leader of the PQ has a very good reputation that he's built over the last 2 years. And so they decided to use the PQ's hand to slap the CAQ very hard. Doesn't mean that they agree with. It was not about independence. It was barely mentioned during the campaign, and even the PQ postponed the release of the budget of the finances of a sovereign Quebec. It was supposed to be in September. It's going to be later this month, precisely to let the debate be on the CAQ and can we trust the CAQ. And so they federated the discontents. Now they're in the position to say, well, now that you've tried us, please follow us further down the road, but that's to be done. It's pretty much like in 2017, the CAQ had federated the discontent of the Couillard government in the by-election in Quebec City, in Louis Hébert. That was a tremendous victory for the CAQ and a tremendous loss for the Liberals, and that foreshadowed the defeat of the Liberals. This time, can it be a similar foreshadowing? Well, it's not 1 year before the election, it's 3 years before the election, so that moves the point a bit. And of course, the Parti québécois will stick to its promise to hold a referendum in the first mandate, and this will be an issue come the general election.
I want to take what you just said and kind of segue into, do you think then that if this had been, if Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon had made independence a bigger issue here, you mentioned delaying their budget, et cetera, that they either A, would have won or would have won by as big a margin if independence had been the issue here in this by-election?
Well, not as big a margin, because then Mr. Legault would have made part of the campaign trying to divert the debate from his own handling of issues and broken promises to, do you really want to take the road to independence? So he would have gained some traction with that. Maybe people would have voted Liberal more than they did. But PSPP took this issue out of this by-election, but it will be front and center at the general election.
So, I mean, there's no denying that Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon is gaining momentum here. And Elsie Lefebvre in the Journal de Montréal said that the PQ could well be headed toward victory in 2026. Do you see that? Do you see that happening?
Well, I was the advisor to Lucien Bouchard in the previous century and even millennium. And we were in a situation where we were 20 points behind Jean Charest, who had come. That was in 98. And we came back and won the election by, a sliver. So it's possible for Mr. Legault to come back. But he has to up his game tremendously from what we've seen since the election. During the first mandate, these guys were excellent communicators, not only on COVID, but on most issues. They did very well. But since the election last year, every day they've fumbled in some way or another. They had good days and good announcements, and the manufacturing announcements are tremendous. But aside from that, they don't seem to be able to shoot straight, and unless they redress, I mean, even the reaction of the premier yesterday was a tremendous misstep saying that the third link was back on the table. Well, that is the very issue that made voters not believe what you're saying. Why do you think they'll believe you now when you fooled them before on this very issue?
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. Like that reaction to the third link, and then that is what lost them this election. And like you said, it was a referendum on the broken promise of the third link. So then why? What a weird way to respond.
It's funny. We had one of our commentators earlier on, Jean-François, saying, and I thought this was so telling, saying without a pandemic to sort of lean on and capture all the news all the time, it's exposing really the holes in this CAQ government.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. And it's such a primary response, like you said, because when I promise a third link, I win seats in Quebec City. When I don't promise it, I lose a seat. So I'll promise it again and I'll win. Well, it doesn't work every time. It's like it only works like this for Sally in Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown will try to kick the football every time, but Quebecers are not that dumb.
I literally said the exact same thing to Aaron yesterday. I was like, that we're somehow continuously being duped, though. Like we keep falling for it. I don't think Quebecers will anymore, though. I think that they've got Monsieur Legault's number. So let's talk about Québec solidaire and the Liberals. I mean, you touched on it, 8.85%. It couldn't be more pathetic, honestly.
Well, the other three opposition parties, the Liberals, had a lower number than last time around, just a year ago. Québec solidaire, they were second in that riding in 2022, so they should have been the ones chosen to slap the CAQ government. But not only have they not been chosen, but they've regressed from last year. And then the Conservatives of Éric Duhaime, who are supposed to be strongest in Quebec City, and in the South Shore of Quebec. Jean Talon was not their best riding, but they should have at least kept their 10%, but they went, they regressed as well. And so there was a shift of voters from Liberals, Québec solidaire, and Conservatives and CAQ towards the PQ. All of them.
Yeah, I wonder too. I know Joël Lightbound's name came up today, of all people, weighing in on this whole idea, what we just talked about with respect to the tunnel, et cetera. Were you surprised that a federal Liberal is weighing in on this kind of stuff?
Well, I thought his line was very good. The Dîner de Con is an extraordinarily popular film and a theater play about, a dumb person being asked to come to a dinner because others want to show him as dumb, but he pretty much controls the narrative. And so Lightbound is on brand in saying that if he wants to come to the Liberal Party, it's the thing to say. I'm not sure that anyone will be a candidate for the Liberals this time around, unless you have a plan of three political cycles before becoming something of consequence. But listen, I understand perfectly, and his reaction spurred a cartoon in the Journal de Montréal, exactly showing a scene from the movie where Legault is portrayed as being the guest at the Dîner de Con.
I just wonder, you see a name like Joe Lightbound, his name, of course, came up as potentially, he is a federal politician, as someone to head up the provincial Liberal Party. This seemed like a perfect opportunity, right, when he weighs in to let people know, I'm around, I'm here, I have something to say.
Yeah. So I think he's still looking at his own future in the federal government. Listen, if he believes that his riding is in jeopardy because Poilievre can take it, maybe it's not so bad to make sure that you have a salary, not a riding maybe, but a salary from the Liberal Party for the next 4 years.
As a fallback.
Leader.
Yeah, there you go, covering his backside. Jean-François Lisée, merci Jean-François.
Merci à vous.